Hello there, welcome into this special edition of the SAU Baseball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head baseball coach Justin Pettigrew. And Coach, what makes it a special first show of the year? We're going to be previewing the upcoming 2017 season. For those that may not know, you have taken over the reins of the baseball program. First year as a head baseball coach, but that's not to say that this is your first year as a part of the baseball program. A long tenure as an assistant coach, the associate head coach, pitching coach. You name it, you've been involved with the program for quite a while and enjoyed a lot of the successes that the program has had through the recent years. Talk us through first, getting the promotion to the new role, how that worked over the summer, recruiting, into the fall, now where you're at into the spring.
Honestly, it was a blessing. Just, when Coach Browning asked me to take over as head coach, it's something that I've, of course, wanted to do at Southern Arkansas University. It's a great opportunity to just try to take our program to the next step, the next level, and build on the foundation that's been built by the coaches before us. The good thing about it is I learned a long time ago from different head coaches, surround yourself with good people. Having great assistants like I do, bringing in Coach Perry and keeping Coach Anderson, and of course our graduate assistants that we have, they made the transition extremely easy. Some budget things and stuff like that, a little bit different, but really it's still the same game. So really not a whole lot different there other than my voice is heard in the huddle every single day. I'm the one that has to make the calls when we have some bad things go on and some good things go on, but for the most part it's been a pretty easy transition. I was joking with Coach Anderson the other day that it's going to be hard for me to not walk to the mound every once in a while for a visit. I'm going to get about halfway out there and realize, oh man, I'm not supposed to be the one doing this. Coach Anderson's supposed to be the one going, so he'll have to give me a little bit of grace on some time there. So, but other than that, it's been a pretty easy transition.
Last year the team finished with 30 wins, 16th straight year with 30 or more wins. It was a 30-20 year overall. Some teams would look at that, and where the program is at, and this is kind of to me, this is a lot of respect for the program. Some people would see that as a down year, even though most teams would see that as a very successful year. So, kind of what was your main focus going into your first year, bringing in the new guys and knowing where you want the program to go? You talked about, trying to improve it and keep the tradition going, but what were some of the focuses coming off last year into this year, first year?
Really just the focus is being consistent. Last year we had the talent to play, we just weren't very consistent. We did see 30 and 20 as a bad year for us. A lot of teams would be fine with it, like you said, but where our program has been in the past and the foundation that's been built before us, it just wasn't a standard year for Southern Arkansas University, and we're trying to build on that this year, be more consistent. The defensive side really hurt us last year. I thought the pitching for the first about 3/4 of the year was solid, gave us a chance to be in a lot of ball games. We kind of phased out near the end of the year and lost consistency there. We'll need to be a little bit more dynamic offensively this year. That's something that we're really trying to do. Be able to score when the wind's blowing in, when the wind's blowing out, whoever's on the mound, be able to scratch some runs here and there, because in our conference we do face some really good arms, and each team's getting better every single year. I mean, our conference is just a beast. We beat up on each other, so it's going to be very important for us to be solid in all aspects of the game. So we need to clean up a little bit on defense, which I've been highly surprised, not really surprised I guess you would say, but been pleased with our defensive work, especially from our starting group. But looking forward to getting things going. I think the guys are getting ready to play.
In each year, obviously, every coach, every program deals with this regardless of the sport. There's the turnover. There's guys that are lost to graduation or other things of that nature. For the most part, offensively and defensively, your team remained pretty well intact. There's a lot of guys coming back. More of the losses of guys who contributed a lot last year, saw some time, was more so on the mound. But we'll talk a little bit offensively and defensively, combining those two. One of the names that we've gotten really familiar with over the last few years coming back for you is Trevor Rucker. And what's amazing, his senior year as a guy came on as a freshman of the year, and has been a fairly consistent performer all conference each year. What does that mean to have a guy like that coming back, knowing that he's been a 3-year starter going into his 4th year and into that senior year for leadership, for offense and defensive purposes?
It's been fun watching Trevor in the years that he's been here before. He has taken a step, in the right direction as far as leadership this year. We're counting on him do big things and not to put any extra pressure on him because he already understands. He puts enough pressure on himself. But we do expect good things from him. He's worked extremely hard. He's worked on cleaning some things up offensively and with his swing. That's going to allow him to be a little bit more consistent. And we've seen what he can do. I mean, he can put up some really good numbers. Just like our team last year, though, and even this year we need to work on being consistent. And that's something that all of us need to do. But I've been very pleased with the way Trevor's worked, bought into our offensive system, our defensive system that we're putting in. And he's been really good for our new guys, just having a foundation, a rock that's been here for a few years and knows how we go about our business. It's been good to have him in our corner, almost like another coach.
And something you're a little bit more familiar with, obviously, as the pitching coach, the pitching side. You've got a handful of relievers who are back, guys who saw most of their time in relief roles. The one real main starter who's back this year is Kenneth Tabor, all-conference performer last year. And he was a guy maybe that for some on the outside may have seen him as a surprise last year in his redshirt sophomore year. Started off the year, pitched very well, worked himself into that #1 spot, and was maybe one of your more consistent starting pitchers. He's back this year. What did you see from him in the fall and into the spring for him taking the next steps and remaining kind of in that kind of role?
One thing Kenneth, he really needed to work on was getting stronger. That way he'd be able to hold up throughout the season. Last year, I'm not going to lie, I never saw him jumping as much as he did from his freshman to sophomore year. It was very impressive to watch him go about his business. He just flipped a switch as far as work ethic, getting after it, working hard every single day, taking every rep, whether it would be with our throwing program or bullpens or even our inter squads, taking them extremely serious. He's extremely competitive. He wants to be the best. That's the thing about him. He has put on some extra weight. He is stronger. I think that's going to allow him to not only go deeper in games but be stronger deeper into the season, where we saw that he faded just a little bit at the end of the year. That's something that was talked about in our exit interviews last year, and it's something that he's really worked hard on. But having him, you know what you're going to get out of him. That's the thing. I mean, last year we pretty much knew what we were going to get out of him every single time we handed the ball. And as a coach, that's what you want. You want guys that are going to be consistent. You want to know what you're going to get out of people. So having Kenneth out there and being able to flip him the ball gives us a little bit of kind of sit back and relax a little bit and watch him go about his business.
Obviously a game hadn't been played yet, and so there are still a lot of things to be decided who's going to step up and step into roles and become names that we're going to be familiar with, small conference guys at the end of the year. But some of the newcomers, maybe guys that you've added to the program, or maybe guys that hadn't had a chance to be in a starting role. Is there anybody we could be on the lookout for this year on both sides?
We do have a lot of new guys. One guy that was with us last year that redshirted, Blake Hall. He'll be a redshirt freshman. He'll, as of right now, looks like he's going to be playing quite a bit in the outfield for us, hitting probably somewhere in the top of the order. Played for the Texarkana Legion team that won the World Series. That was great for him this summer to be able to lead a team like that and have them reach the goals that they accomplished. For him to be the leader of that team and the leader of that offense was really good for his development. He's really turned the corner and actually jumped into a leadership role already, and that's not very often. That doesn't happen very often from a redshirt freshman. We also got a couple of transfers. Jacob Richardson will be playing third base for us, hitting somewhere in the middle of the order. When we talk about consistency, he is the definition. He's done a great job offensively, great approach, consistent at bats. Pretty much know what I'm going to get from him, competitive as can be. Behind the plate, we've got a couple of newcomers. Corey Gallegos, done a good job for us. He'll hit somewhere near the middle order, maybe 6 hole, something like that. Michael Davis is also a transfer. Done a really good job receiving, handling, pitchers. Offense is coming around a little. And then really, other than that, we've got a lot of our guys coming back. We do have some key pieces with some other transfer guys that are going to make significant, play a significant role for us. And then, our guys in the middle with Page and Langston being back, that's always nice to have strength up the middle.
Looking ahead to the schedule, the season is almost here. February is almost here. And for the third year in a row, SAU baseball is going to be hosting a pretty cool kind of a regional thing, a classic invitational type thing at a very cool ballpark venue in Grand Prairie, Texas. it's all turf, so you don't really necessarily have to worry about some of the elements. I think that's one of the key factors there, and it's got a minor league feel to it, so sort of a professional baseball feel. It's also, if many of them don't know, that's going to be the site for the D2 World Series, so hopefully a little bit of a preview, being able to play there, some familiarity, but some good teams coming in. We're among those teams. Talk about that first weekend, going to play 4 games in 4 days, but you're also going to get a chance to see a lot of the quality teams in the region.
Right. That's a plan for us every single year. We want to try to play as tough a schedule as we can to prepare us for conference play, prepare us for postseason play. Going in and playing Missouri Western right out of the bat, especially at 10 a.m., that's going to be something that not only a challenge of a great team ahead of us, but also playing that early in the morning. We're going to need to be awake and ready to go and be prepared. We've done some things throughout practice to prepare for that, but just putting a great opponent in front of our guys. When we recruit players, we tell them that we're going to play a great schedule and we're going to try to win championships, and I think this is going to line us up to put us in a good spot to prepare for our championship run. Hopefully, like you said, I've talked to the team about hopefully we start in Grand Prairie and do well, and then we finish in Grand Prairie also. So that's something the guys are excited about. When we did get the word that it was moved to Grand Prairie, that was something I was extremely excited about, because I felt like guys would have a little bit of a comfort zone if we are fortunate enough to make it to the World Series.
And then also, too, looking ahead, a couple weeks after that, the home schedule starts Valentine's Day, February 14th, so that's going to be the home opener, Texas A&M, Texarkana. Relatively new team. Is going to be the first home game. But then, of course, obviously we'll have the conference series to look forward to throughout the course of the year. Talk about just being able to play at home, knowing the games that are going to be coming up, and how important that is, because you go out there any given practice when you guys are inter-squad, and it's almost like you're playing in front of a regular crowd. So just talk about that, Walker Stadium, Goodhart Field.
It's been great to us over the years. We've had an extremely good record over the years since I've been here that I know of in our home games, and that's a tribute to our support from our community, our fans. They come out. Not only are they here, but they actually understand baseball. That's what I try to tell our recruits. Like, you're not only going to play in front of a pretty good numbered crowd, but they're going to understand the game, and they're going to talk to you, see you in town, tell you a good game, talk about the game, break it down. We have a very knowledgeable fan base. They support us whether we're on the road, whether we're at home. But it is nice to come home and be able to play, in Walker Stadium, Goodhart Field, and we've got a few quirky elements with the stadium, with the field, and playing surface is always, a home field advantage for sure. But our fans coming out and just the knowledge that they have for the game and the support that they give us is overwhelming.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head baseball coach Justin Pettigrew. He and his Meal Riders start the 2017 season in just about a week and a half. February 2nd, his opening weekend will be in Grand Prairie, Texas. 4 games in 4 days. Good regional matchups all around. Be sure to check MealRiderAthletics.com for all your pre- and post-game coverage for not only that weekend, but throughout the year. Coach, we appreciate it. Again, best of luck.
Thank you very much.